Alright, now that we have a climbing character, let's have him climb this guy, right? Yeah, let's do that. So, what we need to do is go into our character, our AI character. And yeah, he's really simple. I guess I can make a tutorial on making a more complex, like giant AI that like turns around and can get stunned or get knocked down when you do so much damage to him or his weak spot. But for now, let's just worry about climbing him. This is kind of simple. Um, I say kind of as in, well, I say kind of because, depending on your collisions and stuff like that, well, depending, you'll have to make sure you have your collisions right so that the clean components don't interfere with his actual movement and stuff. So I'm gonna set up this one. Where are you, where are you, where are you, where are you? Okay, yeah. Uh, add component, and it's gonna be, oh, am I typing clean? A child actor. And this, let's just call this torso. Um, 1. And this is gonna be of type, where are you? BP cling object limb. Blah. This one, the limb one, is very good for putting on characters because it has like damage logic set up that whenever you damage the limb, it automatically gets the parent object and damages that as well. And but the damage is dependent on the type. So if you have a neutral, it will do just the same damage that's, well, from here to there. But if it's armored, it will probably do like, well, probably it will do half damage. You can always change all this stuff. And if it's a weakness, it will do double damage, or did I put it like quadruple damage for the little demo map? But yeah, and you can always add more types, and you can always actually add like life a health system for these cling objects. And when you do, you know, this amount of damage to them, it could like delete the object so you can't cling on them anymore. Like if you like sever a head or something and that object, the head is gone, so the object will be gone as well. You know, just little ideas. Alright, oh, okay, but to set it up, pretty much all you need to do is make sure that the object is a parent of the mesh, the skeletal mesh, and then change the parent socket to whatever you need it to be. This one I put torso 1, so I'm just gonna make it the spine 1, and I'm gonna make sure this arrow is like pointing somewhere in the up direction. Doesn't have to be pointing fully up. It's the up direction pretty much like sort of helps the character, the player's animation, not animation, rotation, when he's climbing on it. And let's make it a little fatter because this is a fat guy. And make you a little smaller. And let's duplicate this and call it torso 2 and put you for spine 3. You don't have to make these for every single bone. That's an important thing to know because you might have too much clean components, then the character's constantly getting new ones, so his rotation is gonna look weird. All you need to do is just get ones that sort of surround the character in in an in a nice way, I should say. Sort of like the physics assets, how there's not like physics bodies for every bone, but only the major ones that you want colliding and stuff. It's the same principle for these. And as a matter of fact, let's leave that how it is right now, and let's see what happens. I'm not changing any of the collisions yet because I want you to see what happens when you don't. Oh, what happened, dude? You okay? Oh, you're not moving. I wonder why. He's not moving because his capsule component is currently blocking everything. And these limb objects are set as, wait, where are you? So I can show you. These limb objects are set as physics bodies, like every one of them. So you want to make sure that the capsule component doesn't block the limb objects at all. So you can set this signal for the physical body and pawn, specifically because the player is the pawn and the player won't be able to grab onto anything properly if the capsule component is blocking it. So you want to set pawn to ignore as well. So then you'll be able to like run through the feet and whatnot. And the mesh, the skeletal mesh, when I'm using this, I always just set it to no collision because I don't really need collision for it, since like the components, if you've made enough of them, like I didn't make any for the arms. Yeah, but if I did, I'll just do one here and then one down there, and then, you know, it's pretty much going to be like covering the whole body. So now that that's that, he still walks. And I can climb onto him while he's doing his crap. Well, while he's walking and whatnot. Ooh. Oh, you're going up? Okay, yeah, I'm coming too. I'm coming too. And if I try and attack, I didn't set up the attack, so he does his regular animations, his regular grounded animations, and that can always be changed by just going to your character and having a check. And I'm gonna put this check before we do this. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna put this check right here. And if is clinging, oh, cancel that. Let's pull this back a little. If it's false, we do our grounded stuff, but if it's true, we are gonna play this and play our climb attack. Polygon, yep, that's the one. And on completed, we're gonna set this back to false or interrupted. As a matter of fact, we can change these. Wait, let's see. Because ha 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 ha. Feel no. And let's have him do something when he gets hit, or something. As a matter of fact, yeah, let's block visibility for that. And compile. Right now on the cling limb object, based on the type of damage, well, the type of the cling component, if it's, as I said before, if it's neutral, it's the same damage. If it's armored, he does half damage, and if it's a weakness, he does, okay, 3 times damage. If we go into his character, and I don't know why that was already there, and add that right back, that was event any damage. We can print string, and we'll just print the damage right now to see if we damage these things. 30, 30, 30, 30. Now, if we change his lower torso to be from a weakness to being armored, it do 5 because the default damage is 10. And neutral, as you might surmise, all on your own, will do 10 damage to the actual AI. So now I have certain variables, well, functions in place for the for detecting whether or not AI are on you and stuff like that. Not AI, characters are on you for the AI. So if you go, well, add the cling pawn blueprint interface for the AI, and hit compile, you can make an event on modified cling characters, and if a character is added to it, let's play an animation. I'll play, let's say, in a montage. Which montage is that? I don't know. We shall see. Matter of fact, let's check. Okay, yeah, he can play that. So when I get on him, he plays it. this is a good way of pretty much determining whether or not to do certain things. Because right now, if I had him constantly, like, I guess, looking at me, like if he's strafing around me and he's looking at me, if I was clinged on to him, I would want to make sure that he's not like trying to match my look at rotation at all, and have him start doing stuff to try and get me off, like shaking his body and stuff. Yeah, but that's it for now. You can always add a whole lot more for things like you can actually make one. Let's see, let's add, let's duplicate, let's just call it box, and let's make it a box, and in the viewport, let's put it back here, like he has like a big drum or something on his back, or like one of those like little platforms or something. Or wait, let's make this bigger. And because of the whole collision settings, it's not going to interfere with him. It might interfere with this. No, this one's set to no collision too. So now he has a big thing on his back. But I can still climb on him though. And I can also, as a matter of fact, let's just make that a mesh. Oh, hold up. What's the name of that thing? Back harness. Thing was parented to say spine 2. And well, let's take off real time. Rotate you. Push your back some. And he looks cool, but we need to make sure that the limb component, there you are, further mesh, we can just set it to block none of those stuff because it's on the mesh, you know. Now he does this thing. I can climb on this little backpack he has that I got off from Sentai Studios. Sentai? Yeah. But yeah, that's about it. See ya and have fun.